The Kindest channel is back on the docket, and last session I promised you con artists. Here they are, 7 defendants who never told the truth and never got caught. This is not a nature show, it is a fraud trial. Every animal here is running a scam, and every scam needs a mark. You are the mark. The numbers are real, the victims are real, and one walks out acquitted. Buckle up, no lecture at the end either. First to the stand, the worst tenant in nature. Never paid rent, raised a kid, or left an address. Cowbird. Opening the case file. The brown-headed cowbird never built a nest, sat on an egg, or stayed for the hard part. She lays her egg in somebody else's nest, a warbler, a sparrow, whoever left the door unlocked, and walks. Up to 40 eggs a season, across 200 host species, none of them her problem. The host raises the stranger, while her own chicks starve underneath it. She outsources childcare more ruthlessly than any startup, and never files an expense report. She is the roommate who moves in, eats your food, and lists your couch on Airbnb. She does not sublet, she subcontracts, and she leaves no forwarding address. Exhibit A. The sublet. We set a host nest on the bank, 3 little warbler eggs, 1 anxious mother, and waited. The cowbird dropped in, took about 10 seconds to lay her egg right on top, and left before the mother got back. No note, no number, gone. Her chick hatches first, catches bigger, and hawks every worm that comes in, while the warbler works herself to the bone, feeding a baby twice her size that is not hers. She never finds out. She just assumes she had a big year. You know the landlord who keeps your security deposit and stops answering the phone? Same bird, better wings. The verdict of the Kindest channel. Deadbeat landlord, 2 out of 10. She runs a 200 FEMME scam on maternal instinct and has never been served papers. Next, a con artist who fishes for a living with a single light and a lie, and gets the mark to swim straight into her mouth. Anglerfish, opening the file. She lives in the deep dark and she solved it with marketing. Her forehead stalk ends in a glowing lure, lit by her own bacteria. Down there, a light means food. Prey swims up to the one glow and it is attached to a mouth. It is catfishing, literally. The same play that costs people about $1 billion a year in romance scams, except she runs hers on one bulb and never asks for gift cards. And the males are worse. One bites on, fuses to her skin and leaves as a parasite. He does not catfish, he just moves in and never leaves. Recognize the type? Exhibit B. The lure. I promised this court up front. Today, no experiments on the intern. Honest. We lowered the camera on a line and lit a small lure in the dark. It works. A curious fish came at the glow, a mouth arrived, and the room said one word at once. Then the intern leaned over the rail to film the glow, because it glowed, the entire scam, and went over the side into the dark. We will get a new one, there is plenty. The internship is unpaid, the only honest thing on this boat. The lure never chased him. It glowed, and he closed the distance himself. Every mark does. The verdict of the Kindest channel. Catfish, 1 out of 10, and the point is for honest dishonesty. 1 bulb, no photos, no small talk, and a body count. Next, a conman who advertises a free service, opens a storefront the reef trusts and bites every customer who sits down. Blenny, opening the case. On a reef there is an honest business, the cleaner wrasse. Big fish line up, sharks, eels, groupers, and hold still while he picks the parasites off their skin. Free service, everybody wins, best reviews on the reef. So the FANG BLENNY copied the uniform. Same blue stripe, same dance, same spot in line. But when the customer relaxes, he cleans nothing. He darts in, bites off a chunk of healthy skin, and is gone before the client feels it. A 5-star business with 0 real service and a customer he is eating. It is every tip screen you have signed because the person in front of you did. Exhibit C. The reviews. We printed his reviews. 400, 5 stars each, and slid them in front of him for the record. He did not read them. He ate them, laminate and all. The most honest thing he did all day. Minus a point, and that file was mine. The only signed original I had. Here is the con. The reviews are real. The clients lined up, felt served, and left happy. Because he bites so fast, the mark tips him on the way out. A whole company built on a service that never happens, with a line around the block. Your favorite lunch spot wishes it had his numbers. The verdict of the Kindest channel. False Cleaner, 3 out of 10. 2 points for the branding, which is flawless. He built a trusted name and rents it out, one bite at a time. Before the next file, the interns went over my head, in writing, and legal says I must read it. Segment The Grievance. For the first time in this program's history, the interns filed something in writing. A formal complaint, copied to HR and OSHA. Subject line, hazard pay. I will read it as filed. We are not lures. We are not bait. We did not agree to be lowered toward glowing things. 2 of us are gone this month. We want a raise, a railing, and to never again hear purely to film the trick. Interns, my apologies. The internship is and remains unpaid. That is the arrangement you signed, and reading it is the exact skill this episode is about. You saw a glow. You leaned in. You are not the victims of the con. You are its most loyal customers. Keep them coming. I file everyone. Court is back in session. Opossum, the dossier. Charged with fraud for the oldest trick there is, playing dead. Corner him and he keels over, tongue out, drooling, reeking like roadkill, and predators lose interest. Nobody wants a spoiled meal. Here is the twist. It is not on purpose. It is an involuntary feint. He passed out from stress, and his body sells it anyway. And while he scams you, he eats up to 5,000 ticks a season of your lawn, for free, and shrugs off rabies. He runs too cold to carry it. You call him a giant trash rat. He is unpaid pest control that faints. It is the co-worker who goes quiet when the tickets pile up. Exhibit D, the deposition. We called him to the stand to answer for himself. He looked at the bailiff, looked at me, weighed his options, and died. On the spot. Tongue out, eyes fixed, gone. A full deposition dodged by dropping dead in the chair. We waited. We are professionals. About 40 minutes later, when the room had moved on, one eye cracked open, checked the exits, and he strolled out the back like a man who was never subpoenaed. He did not lie to this court. He simply declined to attend his own trial. You have sent a, sorry, just seeing this now, 4 days late. He commits to the bit. The verdict. Acquitted. 9 out of 10. It is not a con if all he takes is your patience and leaves a cleaner yard. The guilty party is you for calling unpaid pest control a rat. Next. A con artist who learned her victim's language to say, come closer, and mean dinner. Firefly. Opening the file. Everybody loves fireflies. A warm summer field, the most wholesome thing in nature. It is a singles bar with a body count. Each species flashes a private code that means available. The Foturi's female learned a rival species code. She blinks their password perfectly, and when a hopeful male drops in, she eats him. And she is barely hungry. She is after his chemistry. He carries a toxin she cannot make, so she robs his body and keeps it. She learns your exact language to send the one message you will believe. It is the email that used your real name, your real boss, your real project code. Exhibit E. The password. We rigged a small green light on a timer and blinked her borrowed code across the field. Inside a minute, a real mail came in, honest as daylight, following the signal to the one address that would kill him. He did everything right. Read the code, trusted it, showed up on time. That is the horror of a good con. The mark is not being stupid. He is being competent. He followed a real signal to a real light, and the only thing wrong was who held the flashlight. She never chased him. She published yes in his own language and let him fly. You would have flown too. The verdict of the Kindest channel. Femme Fatale. 2 out of 10. Both points for language skills better than yours. She kills him and keeps his wallet. The wallet was the point. Next. A con artist who screams fire until the whole room drops its lunch, then walks off with yours.
Drongo. Opening the file. The fork-tailed Drongo sits high on the savannah as a lookout. When a hawk comes, he screams, and the meerkats below dive for cover. He is right often enough that everyone trusts him. That is the setup. Because sometimes there is no hawk. Sometimes he watches a meerkat dig up something good, screams hawk, and grabs the lunch everybody dropped. And when they wise up to his voice, he switches. He can fake around 50 alarm calls, including theirs, and lies in a new accent. About a quarter of his meals are stolen with a threat he invents. Recognize the guy who pulled the fire alarm to skip the meeting?
Exhibit F. The fire drill. We laid out lunch, a sandwich, coffee in my own mug, and let him watch from the rig. All calm. Then he screamed hawk, the set flinched, I knocked my coffee off the bench diving for cover, and by the time we looked up, the sandwich was gone. So was he. Minus a point. And that mug was mine, my favorite. There was no hawk. There never would be. He sold the room a threat, cashed it for a sandwich, and billed my mug as a service fee. You have evacuated a building for a burned bagel. He does it on purpose, for lunch, and never gets fined. The verdict of the Kindest channel. Pro Grifter, 7 out of 10, the top score today. He is the only one smart enough to tell the truth, because a lie pays out only on trust. Last defendant. She copies no color costume, just a flower. And the bugs swear they found the prettiest one. Mantis. Opening the last file. The Orchid Mantis fakes no call, no costume. She fakes a whole flower, pink and white, a blossom on a branch. And here is the number that closes the trial. Researchers measured it, and pollinators fly to her more than to the real flowers nearby. The fake outperforms the original. The bees are not fooled into a knockoff. They pick the counterfeit on purpose, because she is a better flower than the flowers. She does not chase or hide. She just looks like the best deal in the garden. And the best deal in the garden, it's you. Recognize the opportunity that looked way too good, and was? Exhibit G. The better flower. We settled it on the record. Real orchid on the left, mantis on the right, one camera. The first bee did not hesitate. It flew past the genuine flower, free, honest, actual, and made for her, because she looked like more. She let it land, let it get comfortable, let it start shopping, and the blossom folded shut. No chase, no trick shot. She had the best listing on the block and let the buyer come. The real flower is still there, open and honest and ignored. Out here, honesty does not lose gracefully. It sits in the back of the garden, waiting for a bee that never comes. The verdict of the Kindest channel. Better fake, 3 out of 10. Her crime is not the lie, it is that the lie tests better than the truth. The files are closed. The court has one thing left to say. About these 7, and the one who never took the stand. Court adjourned. 7 con artists, 1 acquittal, 2 interns down, 1 mug gone. The one we cleared is a trash rat that faints under pressure and eats your ticks for free. The only one who never took $1. Every other one walked in, lied to your face, and left richer. Every scam needs a mark. And here is the part I saved. No con here works on a dumb victim. The male Firefly read the code correctly. The reef fish tipped on the way out. The intern saw the pretty light and leaned in. You are not the mark because you got fooled. You are the mark because you showed up wanting it to be true. We are down to our last 2 interns. Ligar says the unpaid ones count double. Next session, the show-offs. Animals that spent everything on looking good, then went broke. Subscribing is the one thing here that is exactly what it says. It will not sublet your nest, bite you at the spa, or scream fire for your lunch. The Kindest channel rests its case.